In this video, I'll review different things, different devices that we can find and try to identify robots, what the things we call robots. I'll begin by what I'll say are clearly accepted robots, machines or devices that almost everyone agrees is a robot. First one is the industrial robotic arms. We all know them. They are all accepted as robots, and I think they meet all the mandatory criteria. They are artificial, they are agents, they are autonomous, adaptable, and so everyone agrees that an industrial robotic arm, let's say, is a robot. Second one is other kind of industrial robots that are autonomous mobile robots or simply mobile robots. Robots usually used just to transport loads, pieces, things like that, not only in industry, but also, for example, at hospitals. Then we have the social robots. Robots usually humanoids or anthropomorphic that perhaps get the clear image everyone has about a robot, the science fiction robots. And again, they are autonomous, artificial, adaptable, and they're clearly robots. In the service robots area, we have, for example, the vacuum cleaners most of us has at our houses, and although rather simple, they are also considered as robots. A special case, but also considered usually as robots, we have vehicles. I am speaking about autonomous cars or autonomous vehicles. In fact, they are very, very robotic. They have advanced sensors, a sophisticated intelligence, actuators. They are, of course, autonomous, adaptable, and although it's safe, maybe make us not think about robots, they are really robots. We have also a special type of, let's say, of autonomous vehicles that are drones. Not every drone is a robot, but what are called unmanned aerial vehicles, I think they meet all the traits. They are intelligent, artificial, autonomous, and adaptable, and I think they meet the idea of robot. And I think almost everyone agrees that this kind of machines or devices are really robots. But there are another controversial ones, things that some people think they are robots and another people think they are not, or even some cases where are usually accepted as robots, but I don't think they are. And I begin with two cases of this situation. First are surgical robots, robots that are used by surgeons to do operations. And although it has a very robotic-like, let's say, shape, and although almost everyone speak about these devices, let's say Da Vinci ones, as robots, they are not really robots because they are not autonomous at all. They are all the time handled by the surgeons. They're not really intelligent either. So I don't think the surgical robots, at least the ones I know and the ones that are now in the market, are really robots. Although maybe in the future we could find more intelligent ones or more autonomous ones, but I think it's not the case right now. Another similar case are exoskeletons. Again, its appearance is very robotic, but they are usually handled by the human that needs that robots. Not that robots, that frameworks, let's say. They usually has no intelligence, very limited or no sensing at all. So I don't think exoskeletons, or at least most of the exoskeletons, are robots. Maybe advanced ones equipped with a brain-computer interface to sense the human that is using the robot or things of the environment. Maybe some specific or advanced ones could be considered robots, but most exoskeletons right now, I think, are not really robots. There's a special case not so commonly seen in literature, but what could consider robots. I'm speaking about Internet of Things systems or device networks, let's say. No, not all Internet of Things systems could be considered robots, but advanced ones really meet the mandatory criteria. Of course, are artificial. They can be autonomous, they can be intelligent and adaptable. So, although it is a bit hard thinking about IoT system as a robot, they really meet the mandatory criteria. Perhaps it's difficult to think about these things about robots because they don't meet the contributing traits. We cannot perceive human likeness in these systems, and it's difficult also perceiving as units. So I should have said that are robots, but I must confess that for me it's difficult to consider an IoT system, even an advanced one, a robot, but I should admit they are. Another special case are, let's say, robotic environments. Rooms equipped with cameras, with microphones, and that sense the people in it, speaks to them. And in some books, they consider robots. And again, although it's hard accepting these things as robots, I think they are, because they, again, meet the mandatory criteria. Are agents, are of course, artificial, are intelligent, autonomous, and adaptable. So, although a bit strange kind of robots, probably they are. And the final type I'll mention are software robots, a category where I usually include robotic process automation robots and conversational agents. That's a very controversial types of robot. In my opinion, we should consider as robots because they meet again the four mandatory criteria and even the contributing ones, but are very controversial. And in this specific case, I prefer to devote a specific video to reason or to argue why software robots, I think, are robots. But prior to that, it's good that we visit some other concepts such as embodiment and situatedness.